Shout out to everybody in the world. It's gravitating away over here, live and direct. Listen, while I'm at the park with my C's, having a good day, having a good time, I'm watching all y'all so-called appointed and anointed Negro leaders, whether it's people from the Secure the Tribe movement or FBA. It's all the same to me. It's so-called FBA versus so-called FBA. You know, I'll make more videos about this stuff when I'm more settled in my platform. But quick spin. While these people that label themselves FBA, by the way, the majority of Black Americans don't take on this mantra. It's something that was pushed and invented through the likings of ADOs. You know, supposedly Tariq started this FBA movement after he left the ADOs movement. I mean, these guys, man. these y'all kings, right? And y'all women kings, right? So he starts this FBA movement, and their main focal point allegedly is about reparations. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with trying to get reparations for the people. But in trying to get reparations, instead of battling white supremacy the way they claim they do, they look for some of the weakest groups to attack. Not white immigrants, not white zaddy, it's Black immigrants. And what they do to justify this movement is they look for, you know, we got coons in every group. I don't care if you're a Black immigrant, if you're a Black, you know, American, we got coons in every group if you're Black. We got that. So what they'll do is they'll look for that small minority that, you know, I'll be 100, who does have a vitriol towards Black Americans the same way Black Americans have this so-called vitriol towards other Black immigrants. Mind you, growing up in school, I've never seen these Black people have the same type of passion and hating towards Spanish people, towards European immigrants, towards Muslim immigrants. It's always towards like Caribbean immigrants or African immigrants. In other words, people that reminds them of themselves. Accent or not, I see the game. These are the same people that will never stand up together against, you know, white oppression or specifically white oppressors. They won't. These are the most polite people when you see that white man come around. Nonetheless, I see Secure the Tribe versus Tariq Nasheed's FBA. And I will always label it as Tariq Nasheed's FBA, because none of you Black folks was running around calling yourself foundational Black Americans. We don't need a history lesson. Black people, if not help, damn near built this whole country on the backs of slaves, which none of you were. None of you. You claim about you do it for the ancestors, but you don't honor the ancestors. Honoring the ancestors would be, instead of worrying about attacking Black immigrants, would be looking at our backyards and clean that up. Clean up single motherhood. Clean up abandonment by Black fathers. Clean up Black on Black crime. I don't care if there's white on white crime, Latin on Latin crime. If you care for your people, you focus on the crimes that we do to one another every day. I don't wake up worrying about some white man attacking me. It's another brother that looks like me I worry about waking up. I worry about another Black young woman attacking my young Black daughters. I worry about my young Black son leaving the house and having a minor altercation that leads to his death because, you know, we haven't been, you know, molded into proper, I'll say, controlling of emotions. We only know how to act buck wild towards one another. So it's funny when I watch all this attention about Black immigrants, but FBA can't even get their shit together, excuse me for cussing, but they can't even get their things in their affairs in order to focus on a one goal, one mind, one sound. They can't. That direction has been off ramp by jealousy, envy, you know, the typical recipes to make an organization look like a joke. I mean, Tariq Nasheed is a brother I've followed for over 10 years. He used to talk about the diaspora, Black people as a whole, knowing that we're always going to have small pockets of diversion, meaning people that speaks out against one another. The real intelligent brothers and sisters don't let that deter them from the ultimate goal of uniting and focusing on where we're headed as a people, whether that may be people that come from Africa, the Caribbean, people that were born right here in America, Black in general. But that white man will always laugh at you. I mean, to put your dirty laundry publicly like that, to laugh at one another. Mind you, the greatest success I have seen someone like Tariq Nasheed do is make you laugh. You know, he's a charismatic man. He has all the jokes in the world. When he has a disagreement, there's never a proper dialogue. It's his way or the highway. Like most of you black con artists and scam artists who claims you're leading a revolution. Yeah, the revolution may not be televised, but that revolution tells lies, period. Because there is no revolution, people. This culture is trash. Black culture is trash. Whether that comes from the Caribbean, Africa, or white America, black culture is trash. Because everybody's out to get theirs. I mean, what's worse than our culture being trash is these so-called leaders claiming to be one who's with the people. You'll never see them in any real grassroots movements, meaning they'll never be in the front lines, face to face. Someone like Tariq, he literally tells you he's not a leader, he's not your leader, meaning it gives him the shield of not being held responsible if anything happens. You know, he will never claim to be your leader. This is a man that trademarked the term FBA, but is quick to tell you FBA is not an organization, it's your lineage. Yet he has the trademark. Trademark, listen, anything trademark, you would be a fool to think that that doesn't align with getting money. And yes, there's nothing wrong with making money if you're putting in the work to lead your people. But to watch you guys go back and forth, whether it's the people from Secure the Tribe, all these other black militia groups, you don't even have a cohesiveness in functioning professionally together. Even able to articulate an agenda that doesn't hinder one another from stepping on each other's toes, where we could be in our own lanes but focus on the same goal. You don't have none of that, but I watch you guys come in unison when you're attacking black immigrants. I mean, it would be easy for me to say, hey, let me make this video about black immigrants attacking black Americans. But the biggest push I see is really from black Americans attacking black immigrants. And however you want to see it, vice versa, black immigrants doing the same thing, whatever. All I'm saying is, how can you guys be in unison towards other black people in diaspora, but you stay, you know, doing each other a disservice, stay attacking one another, stay going against each other? Look at that. When there's any type of contention, you guys run straight to social media to do this discourse of engaging in juvenile hostilities, going back and forth against one another. For everyone that holds somebody like Tariq Nasheed in high esteem and regard him as this man of revere, what real man, black, white, whatever, of revere and in high esteem that you hold that engages in that type of back and forth business? Who does that? That's the man that you give donations to? That's the man that gave you that flag, that so-called FBA flag, which I will keep pressing this issue. The majority of black Americans don't run around here putting a flag called FBA on top of their heads, because even if you don't want to respect that American flag, there has been too much black death to help build that American flag. So you wear that American flag with pride and you take your place in that realm. We've been preached about being a separatist group of people for so long, yet not many of us stands up against, you know, the destruction that we cause at our hands. You know, you got certain people out there speaking about this, whether it's Brother Umar Johnson, you know, which he doesn't do too much of it, I see. It's really about us getting ours. But, you know, you got a young brother in Charleston White. That man does his part. No matter what antics he does off the internet, the work he does in real life speaks for itself, because he speaks out against black destruction at the hands of other black people. You know, we don't focus on cleaning up our own backyards. We don't. We look for every excuse in the book. We got all this passion, right? All this passion to speak out against black immigrants. Mind you, they won't talk about the European immigrants, the Spanish immigrants. It's really other black immigrants, because it's the easiest group to attack. You know, they won't stand up in unison against the so-called white supremacy that they're all fighting against. You won't see them do that. You know, that's some of my takes on this. But, you know, watching this last night, them destroying one another's movements by attacking each other. I mean, you got young people that just want to live, man. They just want to figure out how to make it to the next day. And you guys are not providing solid strategic plans out here. It's the same discourse every time. And this video is not meant for me to spread my disagreements necessarily, or my, you know, my personal vendetta that I have, because I don't have a vendetta in this. My only investment is, you know, to the young minds that are out there that are so confused, because there's all these pockets of black militia groups, black extremist groups that may be coming to a point where it's confusing you. It's making you wonder where to put your allegiance in. But if you are an American citizen, hold that hat up first, because I have faith that you will know your place in this house. This house is big enough for all of us, and we focus on that realm rather than get into these groups that are really preaching their hate agendas, you know, while their families are in the same white supremacist neighborhoods that they speak out against. And while you have to wake up in these so-called urban communities where I live in too, and our biggest threat is someone that looks like me and you. It's not another white man, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a white Karen, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's the agenda that always has been here. And most of you vote Democratic, first of all. You hate black immigrants. You have certain vitriol towards black immigrants, but most of you vote Democratic. The same people that help push our black women to get abortion, the same people that push us to keep fathers out the household, you all vote for these people, but you got all this energy for black immigrants. Look, I'll be speaking more on this, but I just thought, wow, many years later, we still got these con artists, these scammers, trying to trick your attention away from what we're doing in our own backyards to soliciting our funds to campaign for whatever they think they're pushing. But that agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is coming to a standstill the way it always has been. It doesn't go anywhere. You know, reparations would be nice, but here's my biggest question. While we're waiting on reparation, what will we be doing between that gap of now and then? What will we will be doing to further progress our communities, to build it up? I mean, why was there a Tulsa, Oklahoma, a Rosewood in Jacksonville, so many black urban neighborhoods that before integration, before those folks worried about reparations, mind you, these are people that had to deal with the Reconstruction era, wasn't given their 40 acres and a mule, but they found a way. Our morals was intact in what we were given on and passed down to us by our forefathers, our mothers, our grandparents, our fathers. You know, basic necessities that we had to maintain civility, to maintain, you know, proper households, proper morals, a decorum that made our worst enemies give us respect. But you look, man, I've seen the biggest hate against other black people come from these so-called groups, and specifically this so-called FBA group created by Tariq Nasheed. Brother, I'm gonna give you your credit, even though I clearly see you trying to hide from the fact that you are the leader of the FBA. You know, it's easy for a man to push you all out to go to the front lines when he won't do it himself. So that's my only words, man. While you guys fight each other, I ask for the black young people in America to focus on bridging the gaps. We don't need further division. We don't need that. You know, fight against the people who are trying to keep us divided. We have enough of that. Whether you're from the Black Caribbean, whether you're from Africa, whether you're from the UK, whether you're from Black America, white America, whatever you want to call it to make you feel like you have your place in home. If you are a black human being, haven't we been through enough at the hands of one another, by the way? At the hands of one another.